Welcome, Gemini. It's October 2014, and I genuinely often don't know what I'm going to say. so if I get a little bit tongue-tied when I start the reading, you'll know why. I basically just throw the chart up. I have a list of, you might want to see that here. See that? There's a list of what we call gobbledygook in layman's terms, which is just, I guess, key dates for what's happening. And the important one that I see for you straight off, leading up to the 4th and 5th, is this right angle of the Sun to Pluto. And these planets rule iffy areas of your horoscope. Basically, in simple terms, communication with people in your workplace. The requests you make of them or the requests they make of you could sort of get a bit out of hand. You could become rather reactive, and you've got to be careful of that. Also, on the 5th, which is what I mentioned, another date there, your ruling planet Mercury goes retrograde. Now for you, this is actually good. It really empowers you, it strengthens your mind, but in the context of the way you're dealing with other people, you could be a little bit too strong-minded, a little too demanding, and impatient in terms of wanting others to understand what it is you're conveying as quickly as you. So for those of you that are in the training, educational spheres, sales as well, where you're trying to disseminate information on particular products and services, you might have very little patience this month, and that will continue up until when your planet goes direct on the 26th. Part of the problem there with your strength of mind is your impatience. And that's why they say when Mercury's retrograde that you need to think twice before signing on the dotted line, making any sort of verbal commitments or agreements. So that advice is good for you, particularly this month throughout October. The other important aspect this month is a total lunar eclipse occurring in your 11th house of friendship. The 11th house has to do with one's personal desires, lifelong desires, elder siblings, social engagements, friends, and profitability from the business and work that you might be in. So all of these areas of your life around that date will start to be triggered by this lunar eclipse. As I've said in some of the other readings tonight, it may not happen immediately, but you need to be aware that those sort of departments of your life are going to be very powerfully activated over the next few weeks. So if you've got any problems with respect to people in those areas, you need to maybe rectify them. Understand that with the Mercury retrograde, it may not be the best time to talk, but you can formulate your ideas, go back and look over your past history with those people, have a think about how you're going to approach it, rather than jumping in madly with all that impatience and that strength of mind and impatience. Sit back and think about things for a while. We see that your ruling planet moves to the 6th sector. It's moving backwards and forwards through this 6th sector, and this tells us a lot about your thinking about work and also thinking about your health. 6th sector has to do with this. There may be some health problems that will recur. So what I'm saying there, Gemini, is that if you had some problem in the past and you're starting to feel some of those aches and pains, it basically points to the way you've been living and some of your habits of lifestyle. So you need to address that, look closely at that. The period of the 12th to the 21st is interesting. We see the Sun in sextile to Jupiter. Now that for you gives you a lot more dynamic energy. This could stimulate some of you that have been waiting to move forward on a project or an idea or some lifelong ambition. This is the time when not only do you have the courage and the get up and go to do it, but you also have, along with that physical drive, the lucky opportunities or the karmic opportunities that come your way at that time. And that's all through the 12th to the 21st. Venus moves to the opposition of Uranus in your 5th sector, and the Sun in that sextile aspect from the 5th sector has a lot to do with love affairs. So that is also one other department of life that should start to do well. Be careful around that period, however. We do see that friends may end up becoming lovers, or you may end up impulsively doing something with someone that you hadn't expected. Never in your wildest dreams would you have thought that that friendship could develop into something that it may. Now that's for some of you, not all of you are going to have that. For others, it may be just a sudden inspiration to do something creatively, because this fifth sector has to do with creativity. And yet again, for some of you, this has to do with some unusual opportunities with your children. If you've got children, this could be a creative amalgamation of your energies and their energies, working more closely with your children. So in short, that's a good sort of cycle for you. There's a solar eclipse towards the end of the month, the 24th. That again is going to take place in the sixth sector. This is all to do with your health, your vitality, your strength physically. So I want you to pay strict attention to that. And if, as I said earlier, you've gone back in time to sort of look at some health aspects that are starting to recur, and you've ignored that, then during this eclipse, it may start to bring you more in focus with not only what the actual cause of that problem is, but what you've got to realistically do to make yourself whole again. Next month I'll be back. In the meantime, join me at astrology.com.au. There's a whole lot of stuff there, daily, monthly, yearly readings, a lot of free psychic stuff. And of course, if you want a personal reading, we've got our psychics, including me there, to help you through. Take care. Bye-bye.